Alright, good day everybody. Once again, welcome to our little game we like to call Diet D&D. This will be the beginning of Season 5 for us. I am your Dungeon Master, as always. Hello, my name is Artificial. With me, as per usual, I will have our lovely player Daniel playing a new character who is a Beastkin sorcerer named Elric. Say hello.
Hello.
And joining us for a special occasion, we do have our once lovely player Michaela playing a new character as well, a Dragonborn warrior known as Ophelia Astaroth.
Hello.
Alright, in the grand scheme of things, basically your characters knew something was up today. Something big was going on, something dungeon related, and both seemed inclined to investigate. Needless to say, both characters follow the same path leading to the same destination. And here we lie on the shorelines of the Sea of Aphon, where your characters literally are seconds away from running into each other, being distracted by your own thoughts. You guys can take it away.
I'm currently minding my own business, trying to figure out a proper way to achieve what I'm trying to achieve today.
I am hungry, therefore I am following the scent of what smells to be a fox.
Alright.
And tackle the nearby scent, which would be our lovely little friend.
I'm not even going to have you roll. You downright tackle this beastkin. Elric, you are prone. There is someone on top of you.
What is going on?
Wait. You're human-ish. Why do you smell like dinner?
I can assure you I'm not.
I suppose eating you would make me cannibal-ish.
I don't care. I would just prefer if you got off of me.
Ugh, fine.
Not a wonderful introduction. Do you ever look before you tackle anything?
Not when I'm hungry. I'm Ophelia. I'm sorry I tackled you.
I'm Elric. And I don't care.
Alright then.
As the tension begins to draw on like a knife, voices can be overheard from the far ends of the dockside here. You look, both of you, well, you look collectively to your, what would be northish right, and there appears to be a crowd gathered around a man standing on top of a treasure chest.
I start walking my way over that way.
I follow suit.
Alright, at this point you can position yourselves where you would like. There's a small crowd of about 10 people gathered in front of one man who is standing on top of a treasure chest shouting out orders like he is some sort of speaker. All sorts of odd people standing about of different backgrounds and different races as well. A lot of them appear to be very decked out in armor and seem to be very well prepared for an adventure or a battle of any kind. The man standing up on top of the treasure chest, you are just in time for basically the gist of all of his shoutings. He welcomes you all one and again to our famous dungeon crawl hosted by the renegade group known as the Victors. A lot of people are murmuring about, a few people seem excited. Everything's going on. You guys are
closer so I can hear better.
Alright. Oh, I'm sorry. At this point you guys can adjust as need be. I'm not going to interfere.
I stay where I'm at.
The announcer will continue as both of you roll perception for me, if you would. D20.
16.
6.
Alright. Ophelia, you're looking past a few people, so you can't really see. But Elric, Gesundheit.
Thank you.
Elric, standing back where you are, you have the perfect vantage point that you now notice a gigantic sphere of water, gargantuan in size, floating above the Sea of Aphon, shortly behind this man. This thing is so colossal in size, you are surprised you have not seen this thing on your way here.
It's rather difficult to see anything when you're being... What's the proper word for this? Assaulted?
We have many things planned today, but once again I welcome you all to our little dungeon crawl here. The announcer will continue. As stated previously, anything is up for grabs, anything goes. Rules and regulations have been gone over already. Are there any further questions before we begin? A few people seem to murmur side to side. One pathetic little lizard man up front will shoot up a hand and ask to go over the looting again. The announcer will clarify. Once again, for those who have missed it, he seems to be staring at this little lizard man. All those interested in the dungeon crawl itself will be lined up on the right. Those spectating will be to the left. If you guys can split, at which point half of the crowd migrates to the right and half of the crowd migrates to the left.
Wait.
The announcer will continue once more. Rules went as followed. You will be given an amulet that will ensure your safety. That is, if you can keep up with it. You will have exactly 12 hours to enter this dungeon bubble, and after 12 hours is up, you will be safely teleported back here via location of the amulet. As for looting, he looks at the lizard guy again very sternly. Anything goes. We cannot predict what is inside of these dungeon bubbles, but all we know is whatever is in here has probably been underwater for many a century. Some things may be living, some things may not, and some in between. But as far as loot goes, fill your pockets, fill your bags. Anything is fair game, and anything is fair play. If your best friend wants to gut you for your artifact, so be it. Any further questions?
I shoot my hand up.
He looks to you.
This is my first time here. How much of this place is underwater?
Of course, we do not know. We cannot exactly calculate what is entirely underwater, but I would assume that everyone has been prepared for the situation. A few people shuffle back and forth.
I nod as well.
If there are no further questions, then if everyone would gather to our platform here, and we will begin on our way.
I guess I'm just...
Man hops off the chest and with this wizard, collectively ushers everyone into this one square of the dock here. The wizard will go throughout this small little crowd and hand out these little red amulets that hang around everyone's necks. Everyone collectively puts them on. You see the spectator crowd all gather towards the edge of the dock here. As the mage, the wizard character, waves a mighty hand, this entire section of the dock rips out of the ground and begins floating up to the top of this gigantic water sphere.
So what time you go there?
You will have a minute or two before this thing actually reaches the top. If you would like to converse in the time being or waste your time as you please, feel free to do so.
I look over at Elric. Look, I'm really sorry I tackled you.
It doesn't really matter. Truly, it doesn't.
Both of you roll perception once more for me, if you would.
And 12.
Excuse me. Alright,
Get a 7. Obviously, I'm not very perceptive.
Ophelia, you were more worried about if Elric even is being sarcastic right now. You seem sincere in an apology, but you are not sure if this is how he is, or if he's holding a grudge or something. You're trying to figure him out. Elric with a 17, you notice this figure right here. Clad in dark clothing, has, and more notably, his arms. He is wearing a sleeveless cloak or robe of some kind. His arms are completely coated in metal of some kind, all the way up to his shoulders. He is looking you over, judging you top to bottom, very shiftily.
Do you have a problem with me, sir?
He cracks his neck to one side and actually turns a little bit, kind of to more center focus on you. And after a sigh, he adjusts himself and says, "Just trying to size up the competition here."
One who judges the mettle of others before they take into consideration their own abilities is doomed to fail due to the fact that they're concerned.
Oh, big words. Maybe he's not just bronze after all. He scoffs and turns away from you, seemingly done with you.
I just start readying my the few trinkets I brought just in case of flooding.
Alright. The little platform reaches the top of this gigantic sphere of water. From what you can tell, this is literally just a sphere of water. You cannot see through it. It is very shiny and reflective, like the surface of an ocean, if you would. You cannot actively see anything in it, and it is perfectly round, perfectly smooth. The platform centers about 10 feet above the exact top of this ball of water. The wizard will hold another hand aloft, and a small opening will appear about a 10-foot hole in the top of this water bubble, to which appears a darkened pit to drop into. The announcer guy will hop back on his chest and once again reiterate, "You have 12 hours before you are teleported back. Get in, get out, preferably in one piece." To which this knight, who was up front and eager to go the entire time, literally gung-ho jumps off. Following
I follow
back.
shortly behind.
You charge in front?
Yes.
Alright, you charge in front and jump off as well. This night elf will jump off. Elric, this shifty guy who has just been very judgmental, walks up to the edge and almost just does that classic cliched walk off the edge.
I go up and I hop off the edge.
Alright, this tiefling will crouch once, jump off the edge. Now both of you, roll a d20 to see if you land on your feet as you fall into this pit.
16.
That will work. 12 will work as well. Give me one moment. I know everything is dark right now. Alright, both of you land on your feet. It is completely pitch black. Your feet are met with the soft sand and a light splashing of water, as you can feel water up to about your ankles at this point.
I do like the superhero land.
Okay? You cannot see anything. It is pitch black.
My character has an ability.
Excuse me.
I've got dark vision.
Alright? Ophelia, would you have any way to remedy this darkness?
Light.
Would you like also collectively dark vision?
Well, I am a dragonborn, so I can see in the dark
I'll give it to you.
a little.
As your eyes adjust, you are met to this right here. The floor is flooded up at least to your ankles. The floor is just completely covered in sand. As your eyes adjust around this darkened room, this entire area looks to be cavernous, but it is ruined and covered in all sorts of coral, seaweed, and sea life, like this place has been buried for many a millennium. But more importantly, everything looks jagged and uneven. Everyone has landed here as well. Alright. This elf with the longbow will take off running towards the north. Within a few steps of splashing, she is gone in the darkness. The tiefling will follow suit.
Which dragon are you?
This knight in purple armor pulls out a very impressive broadsword, wields it over his head in almost a chaotic manner, shouts some sort of war cry, followed by many a huzzah, and just starts running gung-ho towards the south. This shifty
I start
looking...
proceeding left.
Alright, give me 1 second real quick. This shifty looking figure will step aside and eye you up once more, Elric, and then take another minute to eye up Ophelia, and casually begin to wander south. Disappear in the darkness. Alright, you guys can take it away.
I meander left.
Okay?
It seems to me like this is an unofficial pairing, as everyone has gone in the same direction as at least one other person. It appears I'm stuck with you.
Ophelia, you are met with pretty much the wall of what would be this chamber. And a crab, notably, running about the floor.
Right click moves the map. Hmm.
I'm not so bad, I promise.
I just stare at her.
This crab, having noticed you, will actually take a few steps to the side.
So the crab is not an enemy.
Crab is a crab. Both of you roll perception once more for me, if you would be so kind.
This time I've got a 4.
18!
Alright, Ophelia, with your special dragon hearing, you hear some burbling, some very loud bubbling, coming from almost right over here, right behind you guys.
I've got water in my ears.
I head in that general direction to find out what it is.
Alright, Ophelia, you stop in your tracks as you are met with a large sight. There is a very large figure that can only be described as a dumpy-looking fish man, who is standing on his feet, but he has leaned over so his entire head is flat on the ground, like he's doing a standing face palm, in about the 5 inches of water on the ground, and just blowing bubbles through his gills.
Yeah, I stare quietly, trying to assess whether or not he is a danger to me or not.
If you would like to roll creature knowledge, I would allow that as well. You can do a d20 plus your intelligence or your wisdom.
I don't have either of them.
Well, I have intelligence. I'll do a D20 plus my intelligence.
Alrighty.
That's unfortunate because that's a -1. So 18.
My intelligence is...
Your intelligence
is
score...
8.
I need a meta. Your intelligence score is 8. 8 is 2 points below the normal baseline, which gives you a -1 modifier.
Well, 18 is still really good, so...
Yes, 18 is still really good.
I will even take it without the intelligence, so I will give you a 19. Ophelia, you have heard of this specific type of fish creature. They are just known as scum. They are pretty much just dumpy fish creatures. They are not really a threat. They are more or less a nuisance. And seeing as this thing is practically just leaning over to breathe the water, you would expect that it's not really in a place it likes to be right now.
I kind of just decide to ignore the creature and walk around it to see
Alright.
if there's anything behind it.
I follow suit to not be left behind. I also unclog the water from my ears. Or start trying to.
Alright, Ophelia, if you would move a little more. Alright, Ophelia, as you move by this fish man, he does not pull his head up out of the water, but his body kind of rotates around as if he knows you're here, kind of following you. But he has not pulled his head up or moved from his spot.
I cautiously turn around and look at him to see if he's... to see exactly what he's doing.
As far as you can tell, he's just standing in place, but he's got his head as far as he can in this water. There's like 5 inches of water so he can breathe.
He'd probably be a little more of a threat if we were underneath heavier water.
More ruin and collapsedness begins to show of this place, as well as some sea life as well. The entire place is coated with just grime and bits of rock and coral, and even the tiniest, hint of mussels and clams growth on everything. But you appear to have a branching path, a path that will lead to your left, and a path which will kind of curve around towards your right.
Left. I start walking towards the left.
I cautiously assess the monster one more time to see if he's going to continue following and then follow.
Would you like to roll perception
No.
once more, or would you like to do another creature knowledge?
I'll do perception.
Okay. With a measly little 6, you are not sure what this creature will do, but you are you are like at least 70% sure it's not going to be threatening whenever it does.
Okay. I follow Elric.
Elric, this will be towards your left.
Oops. Sorry. That's my bad.
Right, your sights adjust a little bit further. Another kind of arching hallway.
Knowing dungeons, there's probably not going to be much loot on the first level, as that's pretty much as far as people are going to go. So, my emphasis today is going to be exploring. I tell this to Ophelia.
Sounds fair enough. If we get any treasure, are we splitting it, or are you going to run off with it?
What I'm looking for isn't anything similar to treasure. I'm only here to explore. I'm not quite sure what I'll find here, but I will more than likely share it with you, as I don't necessarily enjoy the shinier things.
The silence is broken by a loud, unworldly, ghastly shriek that echoes through the rooms around you.
I try to figure out which direction it's coming from.
Alright, I'm not even going to have you roll. From this point, this has just echoed around you. Whatever it is sounds far off in the distance, and you are unable to pinpoint exactly where it came from.
Continue venturing down the little pathway.
We should just be on our guard.
As you guys continue, you start to notice that this is not just a typical cavern. The walls seem to change between stone and even little bits of wood. Like this entire cavernous area was pretty much rooms that have been forcibly jammed together in this odd construct of just amalgamation.
I make note of this.
Ophelia, you see another branching path leading back up to the left, straight, and a little divot to the right here.
To the right.
I venture off to the right. Which would be this way.
Alright, you are immediately met with a straight up wall of seaweed, kind of hanging from the ceiling, but you can see past it ever so faintly.
Can I make out what's on the other side?
Roll perception for me. 10 will actually be enough. You can see through this. There is in fact a chamber behind here, but you cannot really make out much more since your dark vision can only go so far.
I follow. And I want to give it a shot. Can these things be moved?
It's essentially a curtain of algae.
Then let's get through to the other side. Can we just push through?
Certainly.
I push through.
It is a small little chamber, practically empty. Nothing else to really note in this chamber other than, the oddities that is the walls and the floor itself. Kind of in the southwest corner, you see a blob of water kind of meandering about, which can easily be recognizable as a small water elemental about the height of your knees.
Okay. Is there anything else in this room? Are there any ways out of this room besides